Let's make sure I got all this right. Can everybody see me? You good? All right. I want to thank you for coming into happy hour number 3. This is our third one. If you remember at the beginning, we said we were going to start doing some of these live or taking the idea live. So it's good to see everyone come in here, ask your questions, do all this good stuff. We're going to have some fun here, talk stocks. Now, this is my first time using Periscope, and I have some serious problems when it comes to like dealing with technology. So we'll take it step by step. But let's get to the good part. This is a very special day for all of you. The story now behind this one, we have ourselves a very special bottle, and the story is a good client that's been around the Lincoln List since like 2011. Michael Arnzen, he's a great guy. He's been in the program for a really long time, and just an overall great person. And that's one of the good things about running a service. It's not just teaching people how to trade stocks, but eventually you build relationships with these people, and it goes beyond just chat rooms and trade rooms. You really develop close relationships, and I consider him not to be a client, but to be a good friend. So he catches these last few skits that we've been doing and says, I don't want you to be depleted for whiskey, so I bought you some. I'm thinking he's just going to send me like a $35, $40 bottle of scotch, which is by all means cool with me, but no, he's just not that kind of guy. What he sent me was a 25-year-old Bruichladdich. I don't know if you can see it. 25-year-old signature. Only 600 of these had come from the cask. Distilled in 1990. Bottled at the very beginning portion of 2015. So you have 25 years distilled, a year and a half in this bottle. I bet, and we're going to find out real soon, this is going to be very righteous. Now, one of the cool things about scotches, or for those that drink whiskey or whiskey aficionados, it's sort of important on who shares whiskey with you and what kind of whiskey they share. When you open up a bottle or you finish off a bottle, can be a monumental or important occasion, because there are certain scotches that you just drink. You know, if it's watching the game with your buddies or something like that, maybe you crack open a $50 to $80 bottle tops. But there's special occasions in your life. Maybe you win the lottery, or something really good happens, you get a promotion, whatever it might be, and you just have special occasion stocks. And a bottle like this probably is not meant to be not shared with other people. A good story is a couple of years ago, I have a really close friend, and his uncle had passed away. That's not the good part of the story. So anyway, his uncle had passed away, and while they were cleaning out his house, they found this 1950s bottle. I think it was Dooley's bourbon. It came in like this little fishnet. It had never been opened. So this thing was 16 years old in the early 1950s. He had it in his shelf for 60 years practically, and never touched it. It was never even opened. The seal was still on it. So when he's cleaning out the house, he sees this, and despite him really wanting to drink this whiskey, he's like, it's just too good of whiskey. This is too something too special to share, not share with other people. So he calls me up, a couple of other his close friends. We all go over to his house for this little tasting party. He breaks open the bottle. We drink this bourbon, and I'm not a real big bourbon fan, but this stuff was just spectacular. So it's one of the things that's important about your scotches. Like we said in the very beginning, it's not about drinking and getting drunk. There's certain whiskeys that serve certain purposes, and something like this, well, you got to share it with the people around you. So let's say, since no one's here and I'm home alone, we're going to crack this bad boy open and share it all together virtually. I want to hold it up. Can you guys smell it? Get a good whiff of that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you smell that? Now, the Bruichladdich, the Port Charlotte that they distill, is very smoky. If you watch the last couple ones, I love the peaty scotches. This one, you can tell it doesn't quite have that. Get yourself a good one. Say hello. Get your nose in there nice and deep. Swoosh it around. Enough of that. Let's get down to business, huh? It's pretty good. I'm actually scared to hold the bottle because I'm afraid I'm going to drop it, and I'm just going to ruin the bottle. So it's kind of light. See it? See if you can see the legs on it. See if we got any legs. For those that don't know, the legs, you just kind of lean your glass here, You can tell the alcohol content by the way it drips back down the glass. Anyway, let's give her a sip. You! Yeah! Yeah. All right. This is like really special. I hope you guys are fortunate enough somewhere in your life to get your hands on something like this or have an experience of something that this is amazing. Spectacular, I'd say. It's not smoky, but boy, is this... Oh, God. As I said, I hope you live long enough or somewhere in your travels somebody shares a bottle of this with you. Bruichladdich 25-year signature. This is top shelf, serious dude whiskey. Probably the only time I'll ever break this out. So, anyway, that was really good. As I said, what we're going to do is talk about stocks. If you watch some of the last ones, we'll talk a little bit about stocks, talk about BS, talk about trading psychology, just talk about, really anything that's pertaining to being a trader. Because in my mind, when you're trying to become a trader, it takes more than just, I got to follow this dude because he knows a lot. He makes great trades. To me, trading, the actual trading part, executing a trade, is just one small piece of what it takes for you to become seriously professional. There's like 3 stages that we teach at the Lincoln List, which is idea, execution, and management. So trading is the idea part. You guys have your ideas. You come up with these ideas, however you do it. Technical analysis, fundamental analysis, dart throwing, and you generate these ideas. And then once you have that idea, the second element of that is you're required to execute, And when we mean by execute, it's getting in at that right price or getting in at the price where you had originally said you were going to, or whatever your setup price was. Because what you can have is a really good idea. We've all done this, right? You have these great ideas. You think a stock is going to do something, but yet you rush the entry, or you stalled and you missed the entry completely, and you got a really bad fill, and you ended up losing money. And you lost money not because it was a terrible idea. You lost money because the execution of that idea was awful. So you can actually have a winning idea and self-sabotage yourself and just completely blow up the idea, and there goes all that hard work down the drain. The third part of that is the management element that comes into your trading. So when we have our trades and we set them up and we go for it and we have that idea, we have the execution and all that stuff goes well, then you have to deal with the variables. And I think this is like really the biggest element of it is, what do you do with that trade once you've made it? Because a quarter of the trades that you take are going to work out perfect, right? You're going to take them, you're never in the red, they worked out just exactly according to plan, and it's all good. Then you're going to have this small piece of stocks that you take, and they just suck right away. I mean, you just get burned, you can see it coming a mile away, you just get tanked on, and you're out of it, but it was clear. Then there's this little piece. I did a video a while back, it's called Doldrum Trades. If you ever guys want to see it, go visit the website. But on these doldrum trades, the bigger portion, so half of the trades that you'll have will be stuck in the middle. It's a trade that's not working out as fast as you thought, but it hasn't put you in a bad position to where you have to be stopped out. What happens with new traders, especially, or those that are struggling in their trading business? Why this is so important is because, have you ever been in a situation where you were underwater, just slightly underwater, with the stock, and it just pissed you off, right? You just started getting agitated and angry about the stock. You were just getting pissed off about being in it. It was getting on your nerves. So you haggle with this thing for a couple of hours if you're a day trader, and then finally the thing gets you into the green. You've been underwater the entire day, then you get into the green, and the moment that thing just touches green, just kisses the green for a second, you're out, because you just want it off the book, right? Then you come back like 20 minutes later, and you're like, damn, this thing was an animal. I mean, this stock just started ripping. I should have just kept it, right? You've had those. I mean, I've had plenty of those. That's what we're talking about, the management part. When you're in a trade, the important element you got to think is you're not here to win or lose necessarily on the trade as much as you are to bank on a trade. So you've got this analysis and you figure a stock is going to hit a certain target for some reason. You've got some target. You should at least have some target in mind. If you're taking trades and you don't have a target, you're screwing up from the very beginning, because profit is why we're in the game. We're here to control losses but maximize profits. A common problem that people have is they have so much profits. They have, like, when I mean so much profits, I mean percentages of trades. So you'll see a lot of traders that can win 65 to 70% of the time, but they still end up negative month after month. That's because the very few losers that they have are so much larger than their winners that they can't make any money. So you have to think that when you're in a trade, the sheer basis of that is to make money, and you have a target. Whatever you're using, like I said, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, I use charts. I have areas on a chart where I think a stock should trade. We've done this in the DVD that we recently produced, is that stocks trade from one level to the next. They just don't randomly go rogue for no reason at all. So you have these targets in mind. It's important for you, the trader, to stay in the trade, because you've come all this way, you've done all this analysis, you've done all this work. You got to get paid, right? I mean, that's what you're in this game for. So give yourself a couple of minutes on those types of trades to see if you're actually going to get paid, see if it's finally going to start working out, because they're not just all going to work out for you right away. That's what people think. It's like these traders, they make you feel like, oh, everybody has some secret sauce. Like I take a trade or something, and it always works out. I'm never in the red. 90% of them work out, and then I have a loser. It's like $3. Hell no, it doesn't work that way, guys. It's like this whole big process. I have good trades. I have bad trades. I have trades that I fight with. That's just part of the business. But what's so important about these trades that you fight with is that other half determines your success level as a trader. It determines your longevity in this business, because you can't sit there and take little peeny-weeny small wins on all of your trades, because there's nobody in this world that's going to be successful if you won 9 times out of 10, but the 10th loss was taking out those other 9. You'll never make money. You can't be that good. If you're lucky in this business, and I mean seriously lucky, you'll profit maybe 80% of the time. So that 80% is your entire life. And out of that 80%, so let's kind of look at this math. I'm getting off topic. Let me have a drink first before I keep rambling on. I hope I'm actually still... Oh, God, that's... Jesus. Hold on. Damn, where was I? Wow. Kind of makes my eyes water. That's good. Okay. So out of these trades, you're going to have those losers, the 20% that's losers. And then you have these 80% winners. Let's say that's you. And out of that 80% winner, about 30% of those are going to make up the bulk of your profits. So really what you're doing every day is you're not looking for wins versus losses. You're looking to take trades according to your plan, feel those trades out, cut the ones that aren't working for you as they should be. And then when the ones that do work, you have to maximize that, because that's what your research was for. That's why you put in all the hours, you read the charts, you bought the DVDs, you attended the chat rooms, you do the webinars, you're engulf yourself in the markets, because you're trying to make bank. So remember, the ones that are working for you. And usually what I found out is this: the more stubborn this trade is in the beginning, usually the better it works out. Like, that's the ones, those are the ones that put up a fight at the beginning are the ones that turn out usually to be the really, really good plays. So remember, as you trade, that's what you need. You need those winners, because that's what you're here for. It's not about wins and losses. People like to throw around, like, I'm good, I win 80% of the time or 70% of the time. You can win 70% of the time and still be a loser. You have traders that win 40% of the time and are really rich. It's all about the profits. So kind of keep that in mind. Like, now that I got off on this little rant. Does anybody have any stocks that they're looking at? I mean, before I get into that, let me pour myself another drink. Jesus, this stuff is good. God. Whew. If I pass out, oh my goodness, look at this. I'm only going to put a little bit in there. I don't want to get over the top. I'm just so excited. We'll probably come back here next week and this bottle will be gone. I don't even know if anybody's responding. I can't even see. Anyway. Here's something that's pretty interesting. I would thought, now I don't know if it's because as we're in election year, you got this market going through some funky stuff right now. One of the things that's kind of interesting here is the biotechs. They are just getting drilled. I mean, drilled right now. And they're so cultish, you figure after 3 or 4 days, let me say you figure, but in the past, they've been pretty methodical about their bounces, usually after 3 or 4 days or consecutive day sell-offs. Biotechs have been a good bounce play. What you've got this time around is you're not getting any bounces. And saying it's an election year, we know about Hillary and the Democrats and the way they feel about healthcare costs and all that stuff. And I'm not here to talk politics, but as the polls maybe sway towards a Hillary Clinton victory, this could be what's weighing on biotechs. I'm not a fundamental analysis. I mean, I'm really not that kind of person. If it was up to, I don't disagree with fundamental traders. If that works for you, that's good. And I'm not here to say what's right, because what's right is what works for you. People like me who can't read well, that's why we use charts, because if you're going to put a balance sheet, I tried to trade that way back in 2000. If you put a balance sheet in front of me, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. I don't understand what forward earnings, retained earnings, and all this other stuff is. So, that kind of stuff, that's not for me. I'm good at judging price action. That's what I do. But you're not seeing that price action in these bios. You're not seeing buyers come in with the religious conviction that they had 6-7 months ago. You're seeing a completely different look on these. And I had thought maybe as we progress through the later parts of the week, I thought some of the good trades were going to come from bios. There were some decent ones on Thursday, got some nice bounces out of Blue, MYL, but really Friday I had my focus attention on that today, Friday. I thought that's what we were going to see, was this big old biotech rally. Didn't see it. What is my point in all of this? It just seems like the SPY, the biotech, they're just a shadow of their former selves right now. Even the SPY starting out strong after a pretty weak overall. That's hard to say weak. But starting out weak overall and then just really kind of fizzling down, just kind of puttering out into a Friday. That's a tone that we haven't seen. And the point in all of this is when you're trading and you're learning how to trade, the market goes through cycles. And we've been in a bullish market for a really long time, and I'm not suggesting that we're headed to bearish territory, but some of the signs from trading through a bear market. And this always goes back to my thing about gurus, people teaching you to trade and all this stuff. In order for you to figure out how to trade, learn how to trade, guys, it takes time. People come out and they're always like, hey, you can learn how to trade in 3 months and be a millionaire. Now, that's a bunch of crap. That's not going to happen for you. You got to go through these market cycles so you understand how the actual market itself as a component works. And one of the things through a couple of crashes, I went through the dot-com collapse, and then I went through, of course, the credit crisis, the two larger crises. There were other, like Asian crisis, oil crises in between there, but those were the two most impactful. During those, one of the keys, when you look at the turning points back there, what was the signs? It's when the dip started fizzling, because everybody always wants in, and they like to chase stocks, because one of the problems with trading in general for people, or that's a problem, is the fear of missing out. Everybody wants to be in on the rally, right? They don't want to miss out on the rally. So when a stock goes up, rather than buying stocks when they're going down, or when people are uncertain, that's how real millionaires do it, is they think 10 steps ahead of everyone else. The common public, after a stock has already made a run, then it gets featured on a CNBC or a Bloomberg. That's when they all decide now's the legit time to buy, when it's up $18 over the last 3 or 4 days. That stuff is going to kill you. I mean, that's like the worst thing in the world that you can do. Now, maybe you get lucky every so often, but over a course of 10, 12 trades, you're going to end up losing your account over something like that. That's definitely not what you want to do as a trader. So kind of keep that stuff in mind, because we're seeing right now, and as I said, with the curve, what happened back in the older days. Have another drink. I'm just rambling. Back to point. What happened in 2001 was immediately when the market collapsed in March of 2001. I mean, it really took a big hit. The first thing that is was that market coming back. And, the market kind of rallied back, and okay, everybody was like, oh, that was a close call. Then it starts again. and then it comes rallying back, but the next time it rallies, it doesn't go to a new high. And it just kind of stair-step down. And of course, that was a unique time because you had, unfortunately, 9/11 that played a big part of that. Once the market was weakening and once 9/11 happened, it was just a free-for-all, which is, that's not something you normally have to deal with as a trader. In the credit crisis, it was the same way. The first hit started in July, and it really didn't start digging into people until about October, till they started waking up and saying, oh my God, the market's really getting hit. So my point in this is that maybe you're seeing here, since after Brexit, you go back and you look at Brexit, you had this monstrous rip. And then the market just kind of traded sideways through July and August and the most part of September. Since then, you've had news, you've had Fed announcements, you've had all this other stuff. The market gapped down a little bit. But unlike the other times, it hasn't been able to come right back. It hasn't gotten back up off the mat as quickly as it has in the past. Then you go into the Fed minutes this week, which has been a pretty good catalyst for the market. Then you get sold off, and then a rally coming back after a few weekdays on Friday, fizzling into the end. It just feels, and I'm not saying it's going to turn out this way or not. It just feels like this market is different than it was at the very beginning part of the year. That you're getting some of that feeling from the last few market corrections or market pullbacks that I've seen. You're starting to get that feeling of it's not the same market that it used to be. So that's something to keep in touch with, especially, you got to look at this political event. This is a circus for sure. That's all I'll say about it. But we already know how the Democrats feel about the market, especially the biotech. So a Democratic nominee or a Democratic victory could be pretty bad for biotechs. You could see a lot of selling into that event until they get to some attractive prices. Of course, bios are always volatile in their nature. A Republican victory, that can mean all kinds of haywire craziness for this market. Who really knows? But I think when I look back, it was a good week nonetheless. One of the things I like to do is really short the pairs. We haven't seen a lot of that thrusting and that vertical moves that we were seeing a couple of weeks ago, which kind of good gains this week, about 5,600. So 2 weeks into the month already, over 10 grand in gains, trading on a 75K account. That's good, But I'm noticing that how that's obtained and the way that's obtained is a little different. So, like, for example, there's times when trading is, I don't want to say the word easy, but there's times when trading is relatively simple for you. It's like, oh, you take a trade, you don't have to fight with it too much, things go your way, and you make money. Then there's these times where it's like, well, it's a little harder to make money. And then there's these times your strategy is just completely conflicting with the market, and you're like, God, this sucks. I'm just fighting every trade. And every trader, no matter what the strategy is, it goes through ups and downs. The market plays in the favor of certain strategies. And of course, this is a completely different psychological topic, because if you fight too much, when you don't have the edge, or when the market's not cooperating with you, or the stocks or your strategy is not cooperating with you, you'll lose a lot of money, and that's what you're trying not to do. There's periods of time where you can be aggressive and you make a lot of money, and then there's periods of times where you've got to crawl up in the shell, put your hands up, sit on your hands, and be very conservative and just ride those times out. And you think a lot of traders make money all the time, but we just we do it like everything else. It's up and down. It's peaks and valleys, and you've got to work your way through it. So keep all that stuff in mind. I think as we progress next week, and I don't know if this kind of market behavior is going to continue through the election, but as I said, one of the things I've noticed, it takes a little bit more work right now, for me at least, to make money versus, in January, February, the weeks were around 10,000 or 11,000. Now they're cut in half. I mean, that's still good. I'm not complaining about it, but no matter where you are in your business, what I'm trying to say is there'll be these moments, and you'll have to survive through them. So anyway, just kind of keep that in mind. I'm going to call this one quits here. Unless anybody have anything? I don't even know if this thing is. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know if anybody's responding. I'm doing technology. Anyway, hopefully I still stayed connected. Let's say that. Hopefully I still stayed connected. And what I'll do is I have this screen recorded. So I'll try to post it to YouTube. So for those that couldn't show up or those that came in late, you'll get the whole entire video. I'll try to put that up there so you can see it. If you're learning to trade, visit thelinkedinlist.com. Take a free trial to our live trade room. Also, don't forget about the Trade Ideas special. They're having a Halloween special. It's like $9 for the whole week. You get the Trade Ideas scanner, which is our favorite scanner. Plus, you get free access to the Lincoln Lit. Other than that, you guys have yourselves a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in live to the first session. I'll look back through this video and troubleshoot whatever was good and bad. I'll take your suggestions at support@thelincolnlist.com. Enjoy your weekend. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, can I speak to Harry, please? Okay, thank you. Yeah, Harry, Francisco again. Yes, I talked to him. He's here now. Uh, no, I think he's okay now. He said he's. Oh, what time you gonna leave? Oh, but he's not here right now. He went to pick up something. Yeah, but he's. Uh huh. Uh huh. Yeah. No. Oh, really? Yeah, he's young. Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah. Uh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, he's. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, I like for him to be like a salesman, and then he can stay here in the office. Yeah. But we don't have nothing, too much work, it's been paid for just to stay here, gotta help me to make the jobs outside because that's the way the money's coming. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, you pay. Yeah. No, yeah, yeah, I know. It's the only one. Yeah, yeah, we see. Yeah, maybe we hire another guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh, yeah, yeah.